Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. So Sister Wife fans are slamming Kody Brown after he says that Janelle is full of crap and that she's lazy. Now this all really goes back to the COVID-19 and how they're all choosing to handle that. It's really weird for me because I don't have a sister wife. I do have a bunch of kids, but when COVID hit for me and my family, you know, we really hunkered down. Like, my daughter wanted to go places. She's 15. She wanted to go hang out with friends. I was like, my kids did not leave this house for months on end. They were not allowed to. So, like, when I look at their situation, I'm like, y'all should all go to one house. All the wives, all the kids, Kody, and hunker down there. Because I would have to imagine as the moms, you feel like I want to protect my kids, but I also want to make sure my sister wife is protected and her kids are protected because her kids are almost like my kids, you know, because you would think some of those women have been with Kody for years, you know, well, they all have, but like Janelle and Mary, you know, I would have to imagine that Janelle and Christine and Mary, they all have to feel like each other's kids is almost their kids. So they have to have that motherly instinct to want to protect them as well. So just if it was me, I would think that they would all want to get together, hunker down, just so everybody can make sure that everybody is safe. But that's not what they're doing here. I think the only one that really kind of wanted that was Robin. Just from my take on the things that she said, I think she was the only one that thought maybe we could hunker down together. But Christine was like, no, not happening. Mary was like, no, not having it. And Janelle was like, no, not having it. Now, none really knew like how serious COVID was, but Janelle has two boys, one that's in school and still seeing his girlfriend, and then another one that's working. So early on when the lockdown happened, Janelle calls Kody and she's like, look, my house is a risk because I have two boys that are still out and about. They come in contact with people. They could potentially get it, bring it into the house. And then if you come here visiting, you could take it to Christine's house. You could take it to Robin's house. You could take it, never mind, not Mary's house. He don't go to Mary's house. But, you know, you could take it to their house and then they could get it. So, for the time being, just don't come here. Now, as far as Kody is concerned, he's like, well, no, the boy should be, first off, the boy should not be going to see his girlfriend. School and that's it, and then work and that's it. But y'all should be trying to make it to where it's the least contact as possible, like only go as needed, so I can come visit. But Janelle, and I got this feeling as well, I'm kind of one of those moms where I have a hard time telling my kids things. But when COVID hit, I did not. Because I kept hearing about all these people that was dying. So COVID was one of the one things that when my daughter was like, Mama, can I go do this? I was like, no, you sure cannot. You are not walking out that door. But Janelle, I do feel like watching her with her children, she has a hard time. When her son was like, we're not going to see dad anyway, so why quarantine? And she's like, well, because you can still get it and die if, God forbid, you have an underlying health issue that you didn't know that you had. So you got to protect yourself too. Or what about, dear son, Mama Janelle sitting over here? I'm a little older than you are. I'm in my 50s or whatever she is. And maybe I have an underlying health issue. Maybe I have a heart condition that we didn't know that I had about. And you're just going off la-di-dying, not even thinking about me or your siblings because your dad's not coming over. You know, so even Kody said that, like, he did not feel like she was taking the coronavirus serious as far as the protocols that was put in place during lockdown. But I wonder why, because I watched this clip, I wonder why he didn't have the same thing to say about Christine. Because Christine said that she was not going to be following the same rules as Robin, and Robin was like really hunkered down, and that she had already made plans to go out despite the lockdown. So she was still planning on going out and doing what she wanted to do, but Kody was still going to visit her. So I'm just wondering why Kody was so hard on Janelle versus Christine, but he was really hard on Janelle. He called her lazy. He said that she was full of crap. And he said that Janelle doesn't want to hear the facts. He says, frankly, I think that Janelle is lazy about an ounce of prevention. At one point, Janelle added that her kids would rather go to Christine's house and hang out with Christine and their siblings, Christine's kids, than see their dad. That they would rather go there, hang out with Christine, who is going out and about, potentially being exposed, versus being at home, quarantining like they should, and then their dad coming over. And she says, sorry, Kody, but that's just the truth. And he says that he even thinks that was full of crap because he says, She don't want me coming down hard on her for their lack of observation of the COVID-19 protocols. He then turns to her and tells her that you're making your choice, but I'm going to make my choice. I'm going to do what I want to do. You all can do what you want to do, but I'm going to do what I want to do to keep everyone healthy. So 3 years down the road or 30 years down the road or for the rest of our lives, I don't have regrets. And, you know, it's not very often where I say I agree with Kody there, but I agree with Kody there. Like, if all the women are making their own decisions and they're not quarantining, then I would be like, I ain't coming to your house. I'm not. You know, if you can't quarantine, for one, nobody knew how serious this was. Like, people were dying. And there were people that died that had underlying health issues that they didn't know. Like, until they was in the hospital and it was like, oh, you have this heart condition and this is why COVID hit you so bad. And it's like, oh, okay. You know, so these women don't know. They could have potentially gotten COVID and it killed them. But rather than, you know, taking those protocols serious, they was like, no, we're going to do what I want to do. So Kody's like, you guys do what you want to do, but I'm going to do what I want to do. And I'm not going to screw up in a way that 30 years down the line or for the rest of my life, I'm regretting this. So people were mad at the fact that he called Janelle lazy and said that she was full of crap, which I get that, because when I watched it, I was like, that's a little rude to be that way towards your wife. I always think there's a way that you can communicate in a way where you don't have to be a jackhorse about it. You know what I'm saying? I could see Kody's frustration because it's like, okay, so you would rather let your kids go be exposed than let their dad come home for the days that he's supposed to come home. So I get that frustration, but for him to be like, you're full of crap, you don't want me to tell your kids nothing, you're lazy, I don't think that was the correct way to handle that. And fans didn't either, because they were posting all over social media saying, how are they still married to this guy? Each season, Kody gets way more mean to his wives. I hate how he treats his first wife. He is the one with the issues. I think the sister wives should look for a new husband. This one is not working. So a lot of people were upset at the way that he went at Janelle, the things that he said about her, and I agree with them. He could have definitely been a lot easier on them and not went at her the way that he did. Despite all of the tension that's been going on, he has recently revealed that he is interested in having more kids, him and Robin. And him and Robin already have 5 kids, 2 of which she shares with her husband, and then 3 from a previous relationship. I think I said that right. Robin has 5 kids, 2 that she has with Kody, and then the other 3 from her first relationship or her first husband. And Kody has 18 kids of his own, but something that I've noticed with Kody, you guys let me know if you've noticed this too. When he's talking about each wife and the children they share together, he will say Janelle and her kids, not like Janelle and our kids or Christine and our kids, but he'll say Janelle and her kids or Christine and her kids or Robin and her kids, and not like mine and Janelle's kids. Is that awkward? I don't understand why he never refers to them as our kids or my kids. It's always like the woman and her kids. I don't know, but fans were not happy about how harsh Kody was at Janelle. I wasn't happy with it either, but I do agree that the women should have taken it a little bit more serious. When you have people in your family that's passed away from it, then I think you understand. And I have. So you understand then, like, okay, this is a lot more serious than maybe I thought. But all of the women are like in their 50s, I would assume. So you just never know. It could have even affected them very roughly. So you guys leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you think Kody was too much to call Janelle full of crap and call her lazy? Or do you agree that maybe she was a little bit lazy by not following those protocols? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Make sure you give this video a big thumbs up. And until next time, I'll see you guys later. Bye, everyone.